Why do Houthis control half of Yemen modern affairs? Since the start of the protracted civil conflict in 2014, the Houthi organization, also known as Ansar Allah, has taken control of over half of Yemen. Historical grudges, political opportunism, military strategy, outside assistance, local government, dividing tactics, and the continuous humanitarian crisis are all intricately intertwined to create this control. In this video, we will highlight 7 key points explaining their dominance. Number 7. Historical grievances. The Houthi movement, also known as Ansar Allah, has its roots in the historical complaints of the Zaydi Shia population. Since Yemen's 1962 Republican transition from monarchy to democracy, this community has been systemically marginalized. With this change, centuries of Zaydi authority over the northern highlands by imams came to an end. Under President Ali Abdullah Saleh in particular, the new Republican government concentrated authority in Sana'a and enacted policies that marginalized the Zaydi community by favoring Sana'ites. In addition to being politically marginalized, the Zaydi regions also suffered from socioeconomic marginalization. They lacked access to chances for education, healthcare, and basic infrastructure. The Zaydi community became deeply alienated and resentful as a result of this over time. In reaction to this historical injustice, the Houthis were formed in the 1990s, with an initial emphasis on political representation and cultural rebirth. Many Yemenis who experienced a similar lack of rights found resonance in their narrative, which presented their struggle as a fight for recognition and rights against a historical background of tyranny. Their identification and recruitment efforts have been heavily reliant on this narrative of victimization and resistance, which has helped them to build a large base of support based on common experiences of injustice. Number 6. Political opportunism. The Houthis have demonstrated exceptional political shrewdness, especially at times of national emergency when the general public's dissatisfaction is evident. Their ascent to power in 2014 matched the general public's discontent with the corrupt and incompetent presidential administration of Abdrabbuh Mansur Hadi. The government's move to eliminate fuel subsidies, a vital source of income for a large number of Yemenis, led to widespread demonstrations around the nation. By planning protests and portraying themselves as protectors of the people's rights against an out-of-touch administration, the Houthis skillfully took advantage of this instability. They successfully mobilized support from various parts of society disenchanted with Hadi's leadership by using social media platforms to spread their message. They gained a great deal of popular sympathy by positioning themselves as the protectors of the downtrodden and disenchanted, which aided in their quick seizure of Sana'a in September 2014. They share both strategic intelligence and a thorough awareness of Yemen's socio-political dynamics by reading the political scene and acting effectively in times of crisis. They have been able to stay relevant and influential in a fast-changing environment because of their opportunism. Number 5. Military strategy and control. Rapid mobilization, skillful guerrilla warfare, and a sophisticated grasp of local dynamics are hallmarks of the Houthis military strategy, which enables them to take advantage of gaps in their adversaries' defenses. Following their initial conquest of Sana'a, they widened their sphere of influence by combining quick military advances with tactical pacts with neighboring tribes that supplied labor and supplies. Their forces are primarily made up of fighters from the area who is familiar with the region, which allows them to conduct operations that take advantage of favorable topographical conditions. Instead of directly confronting bigger enemy troops, the Houthis have used asymmetric warfare tactics that maximize disruption to enemy supply lines and morale, while reducing fatalities through hit-and-run raids, ambushes, and sabotage. Furthermore, they have been successful in mobilizing local support for their cause by using propaganda to strengthen their position as protectors against foreign invasion, especially from Saudi Arabia. They have managed to continue their military activities and hold control over sizable areas by seizing control of strategic assets including ports, oil fields, and major roadways. Their status as strong opponents who can endure protracted conflict has been further cemented by their capacity to modify their tactics in response to shifting battlefield conditions. Number 4. Support from Iran. The Houthis link with Iran has played a crucial role in influencing the Yemeni crisis and greatly bolstering their military power. In its larger regional goal to undermine Saudi influence and increase its own strength in the Arabian Peninsula, Iran sees the Houthis as a vital ally. The Houthis have benefited greatly from this alliance by receiving significant military support, including cutting-edge weapons like ballistic missiles and drones that have allowed them to launch strikes deep inside Saudi Arabian territory, proving their ability to launch long-range strikes that were previously out of reach for non-state actors in Yemen. Iranian assistance also involves educating Houthi militants on tactics and strategies that improve their operational efficacy in combat. These include lessons on urban warfare tactics appropriate for fighting in crowded regions such as Taiz or Sana'a. Furthermore, the Houthis have been able to more effectively coordinate their military operations against both foreign intervention forces and local foes thanks to Iran's intelligence backing. This support not only fortifies their military standing, but also places them more deeply within the geopolitical dynamics of the region, making them a major actor in Iran's network of allied organizations throughout the Middle East, including Hezbollah in Lebanon and other militias in Iraq, further complicating peace negotiations. Number 3. Local governance and security. Houthi forces have put in place governance mechanisms in areas they control that meet the requirements of the community and offer some stability in the midst of upheaval. In order to manage resources, settle conflicts among the local populace, and provide basic services like healthcare and education, the Houthis have established local councils and committees. These bodies frequently fill the gaps left by a weaker central government or by international aid organizations that are unable to function properly because of security concerns or blockades. In communities that are anxious for stability in the midst of violence and uncertainty, they have gained some degree of support by emphasizing security and law enforcement within their borders, toughening down on crime while preserving order. Because of the stark contrast between their governing approach and the corrupt, inept, and negligent policies of their predecessors, they have been able to win over citizens who value security over political loyalty or ideological disagreements. They have also strengthened their hold on power by endorsing social programs that are in line with local ideals, like community development projects that emphasize education or agriculture, and by projecting themselves as rightful rulers who are dedicated to bettering the lot of common Yemenis. Number 2. Exploitation of divisions. Yemen's political landscape is characterized by deep divisions among various factions, each with its own agendas and grievances against central authority or one another. These factions include long-standing rivalries between tribal groups, separatists in the south seeking autonomy or independence from northern control, Islamist movements like al-Islah with differing ideologies about governance, and other regional players. The Houthis have deftly taken advantage of these splits, severing opponents when the opportunity presents itself and forging short-term coalitions when it suits them. When Sunni groups such as al-Islah are confronted with internal conflict or external pressure from coalitions led by Saudi Arabia, for example, over allegations of extremism or cooperation with foreign powers, the Houthis have taken advantage of these vulnerabilities to grow their influence without having to deal with cohesive opposition from various groups that could otherwise pose a threat to them as a whole. Their tactical flexibility is critical in a conflict marked by shifting allegiances where traditional power dynamics are constantly changing. Their ability to maneuver through this intricate web of alliances allows them to maintain control over significant territories while preventing any cohesive front from forming against them. Number 1. Humanitarian crisis and international dynamics. International reactions to the battle have been exacerbated by the ongoing humanitarian situation in Yemen, which has had a major impact on public and foreign perceptions of the Houthis. Global attention has largely focused on humanitarian aid rather than military solutions or regime change efforts aimed at ousting the Houthis from power, with millions facing famine due to blockades imposed by Saudi-led coalitions combined with years of war resulting in widespread displacement and disease outbreaks like cholera. This situation is further complicated by geopolitical interests among major powers involved in Yemen's conflict, including Iran's backing for the Houthis. Since Houthi authorities control vital aid routes that are essential for effectively delivering relief supplies amid ongoing hostilities, this dire situation has forced many international actors, including humanitarian organizations, to prioritize negotiations over escalation or punitive measures against them. This has created an environment where calls for accountability can be overshadowed by urgent humanitarian needs that require attention instead. In an environment where short-term humanitarian relief frequently takes precedence over long-term political solutions required for achieving sustainable peace, efforts for peace negotiations aimed at resolving Yemen's multifaceted crisis are further complicated as humanitarian organizations navigate complex relationships with Houthi authorities while attempting to deliver aid effectively amidst ongoing hostilities. Taken together, these variables explain how the Houthis have been able to hold onto power in large parts of Yemen over a protracted civil conflict marked by shifting loyalties and outside interventions. If you liked our video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.